I usually go, especially on quarterbacks. I'm a running back girl. I want to run the ball all the time. So assessing quarterback play is like, oh, just
It's a little
don't.
different.
Just
It's a little different. Yeah.
Don't pass the ball. No quarterbacks.
Yeah, I get that.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Draft Digest. The sickest NFL draft and scouting podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Draft Digest on the Sick Podcast Network. We are here with your Week 2 preview for college football. I cannot believe we made it to Week 2. I'm Emily Van Buskirk. He's John Vogel. What do you got, John? What do you got for me for Week 2?
Oh, first off, I had to go Dark Eagles for the game tonight.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Saquon Barkley returns to the field. So we went dark. We went black, everything. So we had to start with that. Go Birds tonight. Cowboys without Micah Parsons. Thank God. No pass rush. Jalen Hurts is going to throw all over them. And Saquon Barkley is going to run for 250 yards. So
okay.
The optimism, that's the most fan you'll hear out of me for the rest of the year right there because it's the Cowboys. So,
well, obviously we know that I'm an honorary Cowboys fan because of my husband. So, but I do hope the best for your team because I do want you to be happy and not have a rough year. So
I think it's going to be a good year. I'm excited.
Okay, good.
Just got into some, roster. Got all the NFL rosters up to date finally. So we were rocking and rolling. Yeah, okay. That was a 8-hour project with all the drops and waivers and then you got the Seahawks. They're like dropping the same 3 players one day and signing the same 3 players the next day. And adding them to their practice squad. They're just playing like this cat and mouse game right now, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why they're doing it, but that's the kind of stuff we're diving into on the NFL stuff. So keep up with who's relevant.
Make sure you go over to John's Twitter to see more of that. But I'm interested. I don't care about the NFL stuff. I mean, I care. I want to know what games and what players that we're looking at now that we've seen Week 1. We got it out of our system. Everybody hopefully is going to settle in. Is there something that is really intriguing you? Someone you want to see pop this week too?
Well, let's start Friday night. I'm going to do the honorary shout out to Coach Danielson at Boise State because that's when they will be playing. It'll be 9 o'clock Eastern on Fox Sports.
It's like a weekly Danielson shout out.
Weekly for all of those guys that came on with us.
Yeah.
But they're going to take on Eastern Washington. So hopefully that's something that's going to put them back on track and we'll get a better idea of those edge rushers over there because, I mean, between the offensive guard they've got in Cage and the defensive end they've got, there's a couple NFL players that we want to see get into the swing of things. But let's look at Friday night.
Before you go further, can you imagine that is the craziest field matchup game? Either way, you're losing. Because you're either seeing red or you're seeing blue. And I don't want to hate on blue turf, but it is hard to watch on TV. It's way better in person. But it's so funny when the colored turf teams play each other. It cracks me up. It's like it's a lose-lose, really, for the viewer.
Yeah, there's no win in this game. But
it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt your eyes, but it's okay.
Let's pivot to the 7 o'clock Eastern kick on ESPN2. That's gonna be James Madison against Louisville. And James Madison has not been they're not a pushover group of 5 team. So this is going to be a good test for Louisville. We talked a little bit in the Week 1 review. You mentioned Miller Moss. This will be my first shot to get a chance to look at him. Good. I know that he threw a couple picks last week. So some people are, that's something that we want to see cleaned up. But this is a really good test for them to just, this is one that they should win, but it's one of those tune-up games. Okay, we had Eastern Kentucky last week. Now we're getting into something that's going to be a little bit closer to what we're playing. It's a good step forward, and I want to see what Miller does. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. JMU actually has a decent corner in I'll tell you what his name is. Chauncey Logan. Thank you to my notes. So Chauncey Logan, Yeah, to my notes. Yeah, that's totally different. That's like it's an extended part of me, but
Gotcha.
it's it's not actually me.
Yeah.
So Chauncey Logan is a guy that he's been playing since he's been a freshman. It was kind of banged up a little bit last year, didn't play as much, but he's a guy that is potentially a really good man coverage player. He's got length. So there's going to be a challenge for those receivers that'll be lining up on the other side of him. So there'll be some good matchups there to take a look at as well. So I think that's a good place to start. It's Friday night. I know that a lot of people are going to be watching, the Chiefs and the Chargers. I understand that YouTube is doing that game for free. So you don't have a subscription, you can watch it.
Smart.
So
I think it's the least that everybody can do with all the NFL streaming. Jesus.
Right. But hey, we've got college football on Friday night too, and that's going to be a really decent matchup. So I think I'll probably be looking at both of those games on Friday night.
Okay. I'll always watch Boise State, and I'm definitely keeping my eye on Miller. Even though he did have, miscues, his grade was still very high, given, I'd say, the field. Everybody had some. There were very few quarterbacks that were perfect. I think actually the guy that we gave the highest grade to at PFSN this week was the Temple quarterback, which right. But he threw 6 touchdown passes, which was a record, and no interceptions, no miscues. So I don't fault any guys that had INTs or fumbles last week, because it's week 1, and there was very few that were perfect. So I think he's only going to get better. So I'm excited to see. And I do love JMU. So that's a tough one for me, because I do like James Madison. You always want to root for them. They're just like a plucky program, and I just always want to root for them. So that's going to be a good game. I'm excited for that. But
when you get into the early slate on Saturday, the 12th Eastern kicks, I think the clear game here that everybody wants to take a look at and see what they look like is Iowa and Iowa State. Obviously, huge rivalry. Maybe not a lot of people outside the Midwest realize how intense this rivalry is. This is like Alabama Auburn of the Midwest. These two teams, they hate each other.
Yeah.
So Iowa State is coming into the game. They're 16th in the country right now. They had the really sloppy opener against Kansas State. They managed to pull out the win there. And then they had a really nice tune-up game last week against South Dakota, where, they did whatever they wanted in that game. In South Dakota, not a pushover FCS opponent. I believe they went into that game ranked top 5 in the FCS.
Yeah.
So great start for them. Obviously, everything goes through Becht here, the quarterback for Iowa State. He will at times make some of the most beautiful throws that you'll see. Those 2 touchdowns he threw against Kansas State, I think I talked about it a little bit, were beautiful. They're amazing. And then you got a bunch of other stuff in between. So they've got some a brand new receiver group. Pretty much both of their guys that he threw to last year were, top 100, top 125 picks in the draft last year, and are both looking at playing decent amount in the NFL this year. So there is some chemistry that was lost that he's going to have to rebuild back. But I think that he's an interesting prospect, and I've compared him to Brock Purdy because he's got that gritty run, kind of like he's capable runner, but that's not what he leans on. Right. He's going to make plays outside the pocket, and this Iowa defense is not going to be any joke.
I like him because he's accurate. He's consistent. He was, I think, 19 of, I think he only missed 1 pass in last week's game, which it's hard to do, especially, granted they had a game prior, and I keep forgetting that they had time to kind of work out some kinks, but still to have a 95% completion percentage is incredible. And there was a fun fact about that. It broke the school's record for a single game completion percentage. And it also mirrored Baker Mayfield's number from 2017 against UTEP as the second best completion percentage in Big 12 history. So
fascinating little tidbit there.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
So I'm not saying that he's like Baker Mayfield, but he's looking like he's going to have as successful of a career. So I am excited for that too. But it's funny that you mention rivalries, because when I think of Midwest rivalries, I am so thrilled that the border war is back. We have Kansas and Mizzou facing off. I know it's not as exciting as basketball. I get that, but it's been a while since these two teams have managed to play on the football field. And so I'm actually that's another, I guess you call that Midwest, right? Like,
yeah.
It's
Midwest.
going to be another fun one.
A lot of cornfields in Kansas. Been through there a couple times on the interstate, and that's about what I remember from Kansas.
Hey, it's nice and flat and easy to drive through. I can't hate on it.
Yeah, and so here's another game where you've got, Missouri had Central Arkansas last week.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely steamrolled them. They played them Thursday night. So they've got a little bit of rest. Kansas played Friday night. They went through Wagner. They also opened up against Fresno, and we talked about some of the guys that popped in those games.
Yeah.
So Jalen Daniels will be the story here, I think. Struggled to stay healthy his career. He's off to a very hot start. This is going to be a good opponent. Now, can Missouri's offense without Sam Horn operate? That's going to be the question for them. Mizzou's got some really great defensive linemen, as always. That's one of the schools that really produces that consistently. In fact, one of their guys, I think, had one of the top Blesto grades this year. And I'd have to look to tell you. Give me a second. I got that here in front of me.
Mizzou has also, can I just say, an incredible coaching staff. I love Drankowitz. I think he's great. He's a disciple of that Gus Malzahn kind of tree of coaching, and he's built a great staff around him. And I have to shout out their tight ends guy, Brian Hamilton. I think he's one of my favorite coaches, and they just do a good job, I think, developing talent. So
they've got 2 edge rushers that had above 5th round grades. That's Zion Young and then Damon Wilson the second. Wilson's transferring in from Georgia. Both guys are big athletic guys. And then they've got Chris McClellan on the interior, who popped a lot at me last year. A guy that I really liked. He had a 5th round grade as well. So this is going to be a
fun trench game. I'm excited.
Trenches, exactly. Kansas at center has probably my favorite center in college football, in Bryce Foster, who transferred over a couple years from Texas A&M. So very fascinating trenches battle here. Yeah. And for Daniels, how this is going to be a real pass rush he's going to be facing. So how does he kind of operate through that?
Yeah, we're going to get to see that. It's going to be rough and tumble, hard fought. If you don't like a lot of points, this might be a good game for you. I think Mizzou's favored by 6.5 or so.
And they've actually got the total at 51.5. So
they do, and I think that's too high. Yeah, that's way too high, I think. So
it might be a really good underplay right there.
Yeah, I agree.
In that same time slot too, we've got Ole Miss and Kentucky. So doesn't sound like it's a big battle, but if you remember last year, Kentucky absolutely dashed Ole Miss's playoff chances by beating them on the road in Oxford. So, this is a little bit of a revenge game, and Ole Miss got their tune-up. Kentucky took on Toledo last week and struggled to close that out, but got it done. They won by 8. So this is going to be one of these matchups that's going to be interesting because Ole Miss is replacing a lot of pieces this year. Jackson Dart's gone. The receiver group's gone. Their running backs are gone. And defensively, there were several, too, that they're going to have to replace. So very, very critical game for Ole Miss to kind of, show that they're going to be a problem again. Anthony Simmons, who played quarterback last week, 2 interceptions as well for him. So want to see him clean that up. Kentucky is one of these schools that traditionally puts out a lot of defensive backs, and yet again, they have a couple more that are going to be decent this year. So that's one thing that they're going to have to, I want to see cleaned up with Ole Miss, but that's going to be a good game. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. So
yeah, I'm actually, anytime there's a chance for Lane Kiffin to lose, I'm on board with that. Also, my favorite, this is going to kind of surprise you because this will be a little out of left field, but my favorite offensive lineman, I would say top 5, but top 3 favorite offensive lineman in Jager Burton on Kentucky.
Yes.
Local. I actually called a football game that he played in high school, And he's incredible. I have watched him since he was a high school kid, and he's just been so fun. He's so disciplined. He's so physical. He's just very good at what he does. So I'm excited.
It's funny you mentioned him. He was on my all underrated team last year.
Good. Okay.
And, obviously didn't play as much last year.
No.
But, yeah, absolutely. He looks like an NFL guard. Absolutely. I'm right there with you on him.
And he's a good kid. And I love my good kids, because good kids translate into generally good guys at the next level, hopefully.
Locker room guys. Yes, and you need them. You have to have them.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be watching that as well. That's a good one.
You get into the late slate, and this is not the star-studded matchup that we had last week, that
we were spoiled with.
Massive, blue bloods going at it with each other. We've got a decent game, though, at 7:30 Eastern kick on ABC between Michigan and Oklahoma. This is going to be in Norman. This is going to be, obviously, they're both ranked right now. These are both teams that I kind of came into the season feeling like they probably shouldn't be ranked, but they're going to be ranked because it's Michigan and Oklahoma.
Because it's who they are, yeah.
But Michigan surprised me last week. I know that score against New Mexico isn't the most impressive one, but that freshman quarterback that they have, Bryce Underwood, looks legitimate. I would dare say he's going to have the better performance in this game compared to John Mateer. And I understand there's a lot of draftniks out there right now that are really pushing John Mateer.
People love John Mateer. I don't personally understand it fully, like the obsession with this kid, but
he's a undersized quarterback. He's got some athletic ability. I wouldn't say it's anything great. I wouldn't say he's a very toolsy guy, but he's a gritty player. He's kind of like a lesser intense Diego Pavia, so
okay.
You have that. That's kind of what's rolling for him. He might be, obviously he's bigger than Diego. Diego's like 5'9".
Yeah.
And I think Mateer's closer to 6'1". So he's a smaller quarterback who's got that a little bit of athletic ability, but Michigan's defense has some absolute freaks. Derek Morgan off the edge is going to be really great. Their linebackers are both really good. The secondary looks good again. So this is going to be one of these games where Mateer probably shut down a little bit early. He's going to have to figure things out. And Michigan's going to lean on their run game. Justice Haynes came over from Alabama, and he looks like a freaking rock star.
I know. He's incredible.
Yeah. You add that to Bryce Underwood, who can run as well. I'm going to go probably with Michigan on this one. I know Oklahoma's favored by 5.5, but man, I think
I don't trust Oklahoma even at home.
I don't trust them.
I would go Michigan.
I mean, I know that Alabama win last year was great for them.
Yes.
But I also watched Tennessee go down there and beat them. So,
Well, that's funny okay, so you watch that. I'm going to be watching Arizona State, Mississippi State, because I have to know, is this going to be a problem? Like, when you look at that game before week 1, you're like, okay, they should be fine, even going into Stark Vegas, which can be crazy. I'm like, it'll be fine. Kenny will be fine. But then, they did better than I thought they would against Southern Miss. And they look cohesive. They look like they figured it out. So does Arizona State have to worry a little bit about this?
Well, first off, the game is in Starkville.
Yeah, I know. Stark Vegas. If
you've ever gone to Starkville, that is one of the most annoying atmospheres to play in.
Yes.
And, my sister-in-law, like her family, very, very tight into Mississippi State. Her dad played there. So that they kind of have a soft spot to me. But
But we love Coach Kenny, so
I can't stand those cowbells. Just turning on the broadcast, it's like, man, I got to turn it down for you because it's constant, constant cow. So that atmosphere is wild to play in. It's going to be tough.
Although Arizona State, if you've been to a blackout game at ASU, it's equally annoying for not.
Well, yeah, but you don't have cowbells though. That's
no,
the thing.
You're right.
But
I guarantee you they've been piping that in this week.
Sure, absolutely.
So, but I'm just curious.
It's hard to prepare for. I don't think talent-wise,
no,
they have too much to worry about. Arizona State's loaded this year.
They are.
They did a great job retaining the guys that they needed to from last year. The couple additions that they made were key. and they're going to be good players.
Yeah.
I think that maybe early on it's going to be close, but Arizona pulls away. Arizona State will pull away at the end.
Good, because I looked at that and I was like, uh-oh. I would not like for Arizona State to run into any problems that early on. So,
the other matchup that looks interesting that night, I'll tell you, is it's going to be Boston College and Michigan State.
Interesting.
And this is going to be the NBC game, a 7:30 kick as well. Boston College put a lot of points on the board last week.
Yeah.
Against, I think they were playing Fordham or somebody like that.
It was Fordham, yes. And it's Fordham, but yes.
Excuse me, my bad.
Where my sister went to law school, so I'm a little partial. Yeah, they beat them 66-10. So
their receiver Bond is a guy that I've liked for a while.
Okay.
Number 11, and he had a pretty big game last week.
Okay.
So Michigan State, on the other hand, kind of underperformed against Western Michigan last week, in my opinion, to what they should have. So there's still some question there. I know that a lot of people like the quarterback Childs. I mean, I was in a group chat this week and I saw people talking about him as potentially the quarterback one of this class, and I'm mind blown at that.
That's why.
But I think that this is a good matchup for both schools. Boston College is always kind of real tough, real physical. And that's kind of what Michigan State leans on as well. So it's a really good matchup.
Yeah.
And Michigan State's favored by 4.5.
Yeah. I know.
I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it, from a betting standpoint. But I love the matchups in this game because it's going to be, grit on grit. They're going to be physical with each other. And it's going to come down to who runs the ball better. And Michigan State, they might be able to pull off a couple passes. I like that tight end they've got, Jack Velling, who I think transferred from Oregon State with the coach. So that's a matchup that I'm very interested in keeping an eye on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's funny because Boston College has been popping up more and more in my getting emails from their SID. I don't know how I got on their list, their media list, but I did, and I'm enjoying it because they're an interesting team. They've got some really good players. They're definitely doing more from a school perspective of pushing the narrative of that they're a football school and that they're going to be good. So I'm like, is Boston College back? Were they ever? Can they come back if they've never been there? I don't know what to say in that regard, but we'll just say maybe they're back. Maybe they're back. I don't know.
They're going to be competitive at least, and I think that bringing in Bill O'Brien has been a real great help for them from a scheme standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's where, Castellanos, we talked about him in the review episode. The issue with Castellanos was he's just not the processor to run that type of an offense that O'Brien wanted. And so they have a guy that's a little bit better for that in Lonergan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's not, I don't think he's a pro prospect yet. He's not a guy that I would say I'd have on my board taking a look at. Yeah. So how does the defense kind of play into it? How do they all, is he going to be good enough for college? That's kind of like to be at a high level in college. That's the question right now, I think.
Well, I have two questions for you game wise of like what you think and who you think might win. First one, I was doing, like I said, my quarterback rankings. I came across this quote, West Virginia at Ohio Bobcats. Rich Rodriguez had some really nice things to say about the Ohio quarterback, who is very good. He's good.
Yeah.
West Virginia is only favored by 3.5 in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see Ohio win this game?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched Ohio last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember who they played. It was Rutgers. Thank you.
Yeah.
That game was phenomenal.
31. They almost beat them.
Yeah. And Parker Navarro is the quarterback that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He's smaller. He reminds me a lot of Stetson Bennett.
Okay.
From when he played at Georgia.
Yeah.
He's got that same kind of play style to him, athletic enough, runs more than Stetson did.
Yeah.
Because he's a little bit better of an athlete, but same type passing skill set. Yeah, he's really good and he's gritty, and that team played really well.
Yeah.
I think West Virginia and Rutgers are very close to each other at this point in terms of the talent level that's there.
Yeah.
I think there's a good shot Ohio could absolutely pull off the upset.
How fun would that be?
Dude,
I
that'd
gotta
be so
love
much
that.
fun. And
I mean, I love
Navarro,
Rich Rodriguez, and I want him to do well at West Virginia because, like, welcome home. I love that for him. But
Navarro's a guy I'm going to say too. I'm keeping an eye on as a pro prospect just
good.
because he's got that day 3 kind of
Mhm.
ability in him where you're like, if he continues to mature and grow, which I think he's 5th or 6th year senior. But if he continues to grow, you've got a potential Tyson Bagent type backup here. So that's going to draw some attention in day 3 for sure.
He reminds me a lot of Gardner Minshew, and I think it's just the mustache. It's a grown man.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
and I love that for him. So that is one game I'm keeping an eye on. I was curious if we're on the same page for a lot of these this episode. It's kind of weird. I'm waiting for the shoe drop. But the other game, this one's probably going to catch you a little bit by surprise. But Delaware at Colorado. All right, hear me out here.
Okay.
Colorado is favored by a boatload of points, 24.5. So yeah, I get it. But Delaware last week, granted they played Delaware State, okay, but that's
rivalry game.
It's a rivalry game. And they won 35-17. Their quarterback, and I always butcher his name, but it's Minicucci. Yeah, there we go. Love. I think that it's going to be a closer game than those points there. What do you think?
Well, it kind of comes down to defensively for Delaware. There's a couple guys that are maybe undrafted free agents on the defensive line, one at safety. The problem with Colorado in this matchup is, at least for Delaware, is that Kadon Salter has a freaking cannon. And we saw that last week where he tried to play a little bit of hero ball. And absolute, but I mean, he was launching balls from the opposite 40 on the run into the end zone and over his receiver's head through the end zone. That's a 70-yard throw.
Yeah.
He was doing that last week. So,
but I read that Dion said that we're going to see the other quarterback as well, or that I read this report or something that
they've got a freshman that's in there that
he's going to get in this game, which I thought was okay, Dion. Like, are you saying that because it's Delaware and you're going to?
Yeah, probably, but it's also they said that they were going to play him last week too, and they didn't.
And they didn't. So maybe it's just a tactic.
It might be some press conference battles, absolutely, but I think
it's kind of a trap game for Colorado because you're home with Georgia Tech and you narrowly, lose that game. And then you go to Houston the week after. And Houston's not a bad squad. And, playing out of your environment for Colorado is always hard. That's just not something they're great at. So is this home game a little bit of maybe you're looking past it because it's Delaware and then they end up surprising them?
You could. I think that Colorado's got enough big play potential. I wouldn't want to touch 24 points in this.
It's like a ridiculous amount of points. I don't think
it could be a 48 to 10 type game. It could be that, but it also could be Colorado's offense sputters. And now, we're seeing the same problems we saw last week where Salter's trying to play hero ball.
Yeah.
And he just needs to stick to it sometimes and play clean. So that's the question is, are they going to be able to hold up on the big plays? If they don't allow too many of them, it's going to be close. But I think that's going to be a little bit harder because Colorado does have some great athletes.
I just feel like I have a feeling I'm feeling some type of way about this game because Delaware, and maybe it's because I love underdogs. I love teams like that. And I understand. I get it.
Well, it's their first year in the FBS too. So that's the other thing here where
Pens, come on, man. But this for them is a huge opportunity because all eyes are always on Colorado, regardless. It's a big stage. They are coming off a really, really good performance, not only just like a win in points wise, but also cohesively. They looked good. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. They were playing well as a team in a unit. And that's something Colorado lacks a little bit. They don't always play the most cohesive football because I don't think they're all always on the same page, to be honest. But I just feel like something could happen. But anyways, I thought maybe that's where I was going to lose you. So
yeah, probably a little bit. I wouldn't want to touch the line, but yeah, I think that Colorado's got enough big play there to probably put that spread down.
Yeah. Well, that was my last oddball one. So
fair
anything
enough.
else you got for week 2?
No, I think that's we're ready for football. Let's go. Eagles tonight. Let's go. Cowboys down.
I'm going to have to think of some
1-0.
sort of punishment if the Cowboys do win that you have to do. We'll have to. Ooh, might be some Army Navy stuff. We'll think about that. We're gonna think about that. But all right, guys. Well, for John Vogel, I'm Emily Van Buskirk. This has been another episode of the Draft Digest podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Hope you enjoyed our week 2 predictions, previews. Hope you enjoy week 2, and we'll see you on the next show.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Draft Digest on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.